Hey, gun people. I want to do a little video. I don't know what the hell I'm going to call this. But, so I'm getting gas the other day. This is back to situational awareness, kind of where you're at. And I've always said as a cop, when you're working the streets, your road dogs, your guys who are out there. When I was a detective and I was in jobs sitting behind my desk and doing paperwork and making phone calls and going and get evidence and stuff, my officer safety dropped, my situational awareness, my little hyper spidey sense to where I could tell on the streets went down. But when I was out there every day, you know, pulling my gun 10 times a day, jacking people up, throwing them on the ground, kicking doors, handling bad guys every day, my spidey sense was up, man. When I showed up, I noticed things. I noticed drapes moving in houses. If the house across the street was that drape, I noticed where there's cameras on the house to see if they're videotaping because they want to know when the cops are coming, so we're going to be compromised on our entry. You know, I just recognized cars that were running. If I saw a head in the car, I recognized that that car was occupied. I saw so much more, and my visual acuity of a crime scene was just so much more enhanced because I used it every day, and I was doing it. So, the more you use something, the more you plan for it, the better you're going to get at it. So road dogs, guys that work the streets every day, are a little bit better at picking up things than guys that don't. And the vice versa. You know, when I was working the streets every day, and I'd get somebody, a couple officers or detectives that didn't do shit, you know, they ain't been out in a patrol car on the streets in freaking 6 months, and they come out here to help me, they were just sloppy. You know, they didn't pat down people. I mean, I didn't touch anybody without turn around, put your hands behind your head, pat them down, I'm looking for weapons, you got grenades, sit down, cross your feet, keep your hands where I can see them. If you don't want to put your handcuffs on, I'm going to prune you out. So, I mean, I just was very much dealing with guys that I knew were street smart, they had been to prison, and if they had a chance, they were either going to run or jump me. So, my control of the scene was really, really good when I did it all the time. And when I got out of that habit and I went to the desk and I went back to the road, I would notice my mistakes. I would see other officers doing things, I was like, shit, I should have done that. Why the hell? I'm slacking. I'm getting old and lazy. What the? You know, so it kind of used to irritate me when I got out of my game. Well, the other day I'm out there getting gas, and I'm up here in Texas at a store, so I'm sitting here, I'm pumping my gas, and this little young girl, I forgot this part of the story, this is pretty funny. So this little girl gets out, I call her a little girl, I mean, you know, she was a cute little 22-year-old or something, and he was probably 19, 20 something, I don't know. I call them kids because I'm so freaking old. But, so they get out of their car, and she's filling up the gas, and he grabs a little stick, what do you call it, a little squeegee with a little thing to clean the window. Well, I just felt sorry for the guy, and I couldn't laugh out loud, so I was really trying to hold my laughing when I got in the car, busted up so loud, I called my buddy. I could barely tell the story, I was laughing so hard, and he started laughing too. So, when you use a squeegee, I might want to go over this, because obviously I thought everybody knew how to use a squeegee, but evidently they don't. So, if I'm cleaning a windshield, when you use a squeegee, the windshield's at a slant. So, when you squeegee, you start at the top, and as you pull it across, the water drips down to the next layer. So then you move down, you squeegee, then the water drops below, and then on the last pass you squeegee and the water goes off the window. That way you don't have water coming across. Well, this girl's pumping her gas, so, you know, little boyfriend wants to help her out, he's going to clean her window. He grabs his freaking squeegee, and he does this, and he cleans the bottom one first. And I was like, well, maybe there was something there he wanted to get off. So he squeegees at the bottom, and of course, what happens? All the water on top, which he didn't squeegee, starts dripping down on where he just cleaned. So, so the bottom's dirty, and he wipes off his little squeegee. So the bottom's dirty again, so he re-squeegees it. And he squeegees it again. And the water drips down again. And I'm thinking, dude, don't you figure out if you work from the top down, shit flows? Do you have any concept of the theory of gravity? No clue, man. And probably both these guys are probably going to college. So he's cleaning this bottom part about 3 times, and I'm just dying not to laugh. So then he finally gets the bottom where there's no drips. He cleans it, and he goes to the center. And he cleans the center. Well, as he pulls it, all the shit drips down to the bottom. So he kind of looks in the window like, what's wrong? Why ain't this working? Dude, I'm telling you, my gut was hurting so freaking bad, I had tears from my eyes. Finally, I'm like, okay, he's going to get it now. He's going to figure out. He turns the squeegee this way. He rewashes the whole window, and he turns it this way, and he starts pulling down, straight down. So when you pull a squeegee, you have water on both sides now. So he starts doing this down the window, and there's these streaks. And his girlfriend's just putting in gas. Both of them are kind of clueless, and they probably don't even know I'm watching them and laughing at them. But anyway, so in the middle of this going on, I'm filling up my car. So I got my gas, and I'm trying not to bust up. All of a sudden, freaking explosion goes off. Boom! And I mean, it sounded literally, I thought some Rahib, you know, the only thing I didn't hear was Aloha Snack Bar because a bomb just went off, but that sucker was boom, and I kind of felt almost like the percussion. I was like, what the? So normally, if I was a cop when I was working a street from the first part, when you heard gunfire or anything like that, my gun was out and I was tactically scanning. I was ready to take on a target. And I didn't go for my gun immediately. I heard that bang and I kind of flinched and went down, and then kind of real quick went, what the hell are you doing? Get a gun. So I started going to my car to kind of figure out as I'm scanning what's going on. I get in my center console, I'm looking, I don't see anything. And I'm like, what the hell? All of a sudden a freaking wheel comes bouncing by at the parking lot next to me. And I'm like, what the hell? Then I see smoke and steam coming up, and I see this car with the front end just trashed. And I'm like, holy shit, that was a car. So this car is coming down the road, and about 40, and it turns, and at 40 miles an hour it goes straight in this building. Well, obviously I think this has happened to this building before, because this building had these concrete poles, metal poles filled with concrete every 5 feet in front of this thing. So when this car hit these poles, man, I'm a pole lover. Those poles didn't bend, chip, or move. That car was total. It sheared the wheel off. It smashed the engine. All the radiator fluid, water, oil, everything was spewing everywhere. This car was trashed, and there wasn't a dent on the building, and on that concrete pole there was a little bitty paint chipped off it. And I was like, dude, I need some of those poles, because there ain't no damn car going through that. That dude hit that car. So I go over there, you know, partly being nosy, kind of want to help make sure there's anything hurt, because there was a few people there, and they were just standing there. And nobody really checked on the driver, and I'm like, dude, that guy may be fucking choking on his blood or something. We probably ought to grab his ass, pull him out of the car, do something. This thing may go up in flames. So I go over there, and I see the guy in there, and he's on his phone, texting. I'm like, what the He's texting, and I look, and the airbags aren't out. And I'm like, shit, the windshield's trashed. So I'm thinking this dude's, you know, he's probably hurt. He hit this pretty damn hard. And I was like, the windshield's all trashed. He's not bleeding, though. I mean, he's pretty close to the steering wheel, and the car's trashed, but I didn't see the airbag. So I opened the door, and surprisingly, the door opened. Because normally when a car compresses like an accordion, it shrinks that hinge and you can't open the door. Well, the door opened. So I opened this door, I go, hey guy. And he goes, just a second. He's talking to someone on the phone. I'm like, well, he's talking on the phone, he's probably okay. And then he gets off the phone, I go, dude, you need an ambulance? He goes, no, I'm okay. I go, you know what happened? And he was kind of shaking. He goes, yeah, I know what happened, this happened before. So I'm kind of like, well, shit, why the hell are you driving that before? You ought to be able not to fucking do it again. So I'm like, dude, I don't think you understand what happened. I said, you're shaking, you're really nervous, and you're not acting like you just had a major accident. He goes, no, it happened before. I'm an epileptic, and I went out, you know, I black out sometime. And he goes, I blacked out, and I hit this. I called my mom. She's on my way to pick me up. So now I start going, if you're an epileptic and you've blacked out before, why the hell are you driving? Because instead of those poles, if you'd have went 5 or 10 feet more, you'd have hit me filling up my car and took out the whole damn gas station, probably killed us all. Why the hell are you driving if you got epileptic fits and you know that you'd be blacking out? So, and of course he's smoking his electronic cigar. He's a kid, got earrings on, long hair, felt like I was back in damn California. So I'm like, dude, I really think you ought to see a doctor. I said, you're shaking. I said, you've obviously had an adrenaline pump. I don't know if you know you're shaking. He goes, yeah, I know I'm shaking. I go, well, I said, you may not feel the pain right now because you have the adrenaline pump. You have pain, endorphins and stuff flying through your body, painkillers, so you're not going to feel the pain. But I said, you just had a pretty serious accident. I said, your seatbelt's probably bruised you and you don't feel it. He goes, I'll be all right. So there's still 5 people standing around. Nobody's approached him. Everybody's just kind of looking at the impressed at how those cement things stopped his car, and the whole wheel's off and the car's trash. And it's just like, damn, those are some badass concrete poles. So I go back to my car, and my car's finished gassing now, and the guy's, I think he finished cleaning his windshield. I don't know, I didn't look at his windshield. I was just ready to get the hell out of there. So I undo my car, walk to my car, get in the car, and I dial 911. I go, hey, did you guys get a call an accident? Because now it's going on, 5, 7, 10 minutes. Somebody should have called the cops. They're like, are you out by so-and-so on the highway? And I go, no. I said, I'm out by the Valero station. And he goes, we thought we had an officer, or the officers were busy. I said, look, there was a major accident there, and I said, this kid's saying he doesn't need medical. But I said, I think you ought to start medical, because this guy probably needs some sort of evaluation. And he told me he's an epileptic, and he blacked out. So I don't know if he's going to black out again or what caused the epileptic, but he's saying his mom's on the way to pick him up. So, and they're like, oh, okay, we'll get a unit out there. Now, I did that for 2 reasons. One, I want it documented. If this has happened before, this guy either doesn't have a license, it's suspended or restricted, and it could be restricted. He can only drive when he's on his medication. So was he on his medication? Does his medication say you're not supposed to smoke those electronic cigars? Was he under the influence? Did he have anything else on board? An officer should have been there to kind of evaluate this guy. I mean, if it was my call and I got there, I'd be like, dude, come on out, let me look at your eyes. They're probably going to be dilated because his heart rate's up because he just had an accident, so that's going to dilate the eyes. His pulse is going to be up, so I really won't be able to tell if he's under the influence of a stimulant. But if I smell alcohol or if he's on any medication, etc., that can determine how this is going to go. He could have killed somebody he would have killed anybody he hit. Because, I mean, he was freaking hauling ass. That car literally exploded. It sounded like a damn explosion. But, anyway, the guy cleaning the windshield just had me in stitches. And then, but I guess the point of it was, if I'd have heard that boom when I was working on the streets, my gun would have been out and I would have immediately sucked cover and moved toward the boom. And this time I kind of flinched, and it took me a couple seconds to process. What are you doing? Get to cover, get in your car, get to your gun, do something. So then I had to react. That lag time is from lack of experience or lack of doing it every day. If I did it every day, I would be better at it. So when you walk in buildings and you're kind of situational awareness, have your escape plans, have your escape path, know where the windows are out, know where the doors are at, know where I can get to a door, know where I'm sitting, know how far my car is. If I run out here, am I running out to traffic and into a roadway? If I run out here, is it a parking lot? Just be situational aware. It's going to help you no matter what happens as you're going through your daily life if you're a little more situational aware. And then when something happens, you're going to be more prepared to remember and deal with it. All right? Isn't that there on situational awareness?